Good morning and welcome to episode 8 of Like It or Leave It. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. If you're not drunk, work on it. It's only 3:53 in the morning, but it's never too early to get a drink in, especially on this outstanding holiday, if I do say so myself. So, we got a lot of things to talk about today. Want to talk about the Patriots, want to talk about Michael Jordan, want to talk about LeBron, want to talk about Westbrook. I'm going to talk about an article I found about who's set up for success the next few years, even though it's an old article. So it's going to show how well that article was done a few years ago. And a couple other side notes. Yes, I got some NCAA talk for you. What else we got today? Got a lot today. So, first, I want to talk about tell me though, as a kid, did you ever hear the expression, eyes are bigger than your stomach? You sit there, you're hungry, you look at food, and you're like, oh, I could eat this, I could eat that, I could eat this, I could eat that. Usually happens around Thanksgiving. You're like, oh, I'm going to get 3 or 4 servings. Oh, I'm going to get some mashed potatoes here, sweet potatoes. I'm going to get a big thing of chicken, a big thing of turkey. Like, you just think you can eat everything. Your eyes are just huge, and your stomach, well, it's really not. We do the same kind of thing as fans during sports, and we have this fascination with the highlight players. We really love these highlight players because we see them on ESPN. We see them on all the highlight shows, and we think, ooh, that's what I want. Ooh, that guy is great. We love the fascinating and exciting. Think back to when Michael Vick, early in his career with the Falcons. Michael Vick was never the best quarterback in football. He was, in terms of throwing the ball when he was with the Falcons, he was never a top 5 or even a top 10 quarterback for that matter when it came to throwing the football. But he was exciting. He was fascinating. Made us, we're like, ooh. Derrick Rose, another great example. Derrick Rose, MVP season aside, really, and only half of that season did I think he actually played worthy of being considered for an MVP. He was exciting. He was flashy. Derrick Rose versus Russell Westbrook was a debate at one point for who was the most athletic point guard we've ever seen. Who remembers Cordell Stewart? Cordell Stewart, exciting, flashy. Stromile Swift. I think that always makes my point. If I can end a conversation or end a point with Stromile Swift, I think I've made my point. And part of this I want to talk about is because we love the flashy and exciting. We don't love the consistent. And I don't get why. I get why little kids love the exciting and flashy, but you're supposed to outgrow that mentality. I bring this up because there's all this conversation about who is the best young player on these NBA teams who are either theoretically tanking or just, trying to push their young players out there and see what they can do. So, more tanking, but we got 2 really prime examples of tanking that I wanted to pay close attention to. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm about to explain to you why neither of them have the best player that you think of. They have the best player on the team, but it's not who you think it is. I'm going to start with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think there's about 5 guys who people genuinely consider, they're like, that's the nucleus of the team. That's one of those guys going to be the best players. And with the Lakers, you got D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, and Brandon Ingram as their big 3 guys. Larry Nance, I'm gonna show a little love to Larry Nance, shout him out. Although I think he gets more of that good bench player, Lamar Odom type early in his career. It's like people think he's good, people think he's got potential, but I don't think anyone thinks he's in the other guy's class quite yet. So D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram are the 3 I want to focus on. You have D'Angelo Russell, who's averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. You have Julius Randle, who's averaging 13 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Brandon Ingram, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Let me just say, I really like D'Angelo Russell. I think he has everything. I think he has the same, not necessarily the same makeup, but he's got the same body. He's got the same skill set to be James Harden. I think as good as James Harden is right now, D'Angelo Russell could be that good in 3 years. But like I've stated in episodes before, and I will continue to state, is not overreacting and not assuming someone or something is going to be great just because they've shown flashes of being really good. D'Angelo Russell, as of right now, is an inefficient player. Shoots 40% from the field, in the low 30s from the three. High turnover count. He's almost averaging 3 a game. Or does average 3 a game, I'm sorry. And quite honestly, everyone always gets on JaVale McGee, I'm sorry. D'Angelo Russell makes 1 or 2 bonehead plays a game. I mean, I've seen him just sit there he'll think he's going to get fouled. And I've seen him do this on multiple occasions. I get the Lakers on TV, and he just kind of gets the ball and goes up for an awkward shot thinking he's going to get fouled. We all saw the kick off the leg, but messed up inbound plays. He's starting to build up more lowlights than he is highlights. Brandon Ingram. I'm not nearly as high on Brandon Ingram as everybody else is. I've never liked the slender big guy. Coming out of the draft, there's been 2 that have panned out over the last 9-10 years. And if you take out Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, who's your next best thin big guy? John Henson, who's good rebounder, good shot blocker, can catch lobs, but that's about it. Most of them phase out of the league because you got to be kind of tough and you got to be big if you're going to play in this league. So Brandon Ingram right now is just, he's 19. Yeah, he will get better, we think. But as of right now, he's up for the worst player in basketball. I mean, 8 points a game, 4 boards. You're shooting 38%, turning the ball over 2 times a game. Yeah, you're one of the 10 worst players in basketball off of what you have shown right now. Julius Randle, who I think is the best of those 3, is 13 points, 9 rebounds, and the 4 assists. He gets a lot of Draymond Green comparison. I don't agree with that. Once again, he's not there yet until you've shown me you can do it. I'm just not going to assume you can. I think he's a very good player. My issue with Julius Randle is for Draymond Green to be who he is, Draymond Green has to play 1A, 1B defense in terms of best defender in the league. I think if you're talking about an individual defender, I think Rudy Gobert, and Kawhi Leonard are probably my top 3 defensive players. Rudy Gobert being, I think, the best interior shot blocker in the league. Draymond Green being the most versatile, can guard 4 different positions. And Kawhi Leonard being, I think, the best on-ball defender we have in basketball. Julius Randle is not that. I mean, not even close. Julius Randle is more James Harden on defense than he is anything close to Draymond Green. That's why the best player on the Lakers is Jordan Clarkson. And people are going to go crazy. And people are going to say, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, you're just trying to say that. No. let's look at some stuff. Jordan Clarkson, and I will give you this. Stats will not blow you out of the water. None of the players on the Lakers stats will blow you out of the water. They're not a good team. Jordan Clarkson's averaging 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. This is while all coming off the bench. If you want to look at games started, the 50 and 59 and 29 that the other 3 guys have accumulated, Jordan Clarkson started 5 games. And you know why he started 5 games? Because the last 2 games, he'd been playing so well, he took the spot from D'Angelo Russell comparatively to when D'Angelo Russell was hurt early in the year and he had to step in and start for a few games. Jordan Clarkson was playing so well, he took the spot from D'Angelo Russell. You know that same spot that the Lakers have shut down Timothy Mozgov for the rest of the season and put Nick Young on the bench for the rest of the season because they wanted to see their young players? Jordan Clarkson didn't get put on the bench. Jordan Clarkson didn't get shut down for the rest of the season. I mean, hell, Lou Williams got traded because they were trying to play these young guys and competitively lose games. Jordan Clarkson, with the amount of time he has, of course his numbers aren't going to be that great. They won't be. When you will play off the bench, even if you're a point guard or not, you are not in there to facilitate the offense. Generally, most backup point guards are, hey, they can shoot a little bit, can score a couple points, and give their starter space the starter out 5-6 minutes at a time. Shoots 45% from the field, almost 40% from 3. Far more efficient than any of the guys besides Julius Randle, but Randle's a big guy. He should be more efficient. And in fairness, he's only 3% behind Randle. Randle should be in the high 50s. Jordan Clarkson is the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers, and I think you look down the road 2 years later, that it's going to play out. Same way with the Philadelphia 76ers. Everyone loves Joel Embiid. Everyone loves Jahlil. I don't know if everyone loves Jahlil Okafor. A lot of people like Jahlil Okafor. Almost everyone loves Joel Embiid. Dario Saric, if I'm saying that correctly, is the best player on the 76ers. Let's run through their stats real quick. Joel Embiid, yes, is 20 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. Jahlil Okafor is 12 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. Dario Saric is 12 points a game, 6 rebounds a game. But you know why his stats, even though they're not as impressive, why they matter so much more? Joel Embiid's played 31 games. Didn't play back-to-backs. Didn't play over long stretches of time. Had a minute restriction. Still got hurt. Jahlil Okafor, he's missed time in both of his seasons. Can't play a lick of defense. He's once again in that James Harden category of, well, coach, what do you mean? I shuffled my feet twice and then he ran by me. Isn't that good enough? No, it's not. Dario Saric is 67, has played 67 games, which I believe is all except one game. He plays far better defense than not better defense than Embiid, but more consistent defense. Consistently rebounds, consistently plays tough. His availability is what makes him better than Embiid. His defense makes him better than Okafor. And quite frankly, Joel Embiid, as of the moment, Joel Embiid might just be Greg Oden. The talent is there, but if you're not available to play, I don't care how talented you are. I need guys on the court. I need guys who are going to be there for me. And if you're not going to be there for me, I really just can't trust you. Dario Saric, Jordan Clarkson, the best player on 2. We'll be nice and call them up-and-coming teams. Scores from yesterday, we have the Thunder beat the Raptors 123-102. Another triple-double for Russell Westbrook. Isn't it funny? I said, I believe his last Friday show or maybe his Monday show, where I was talking about Russell Westbrook being in that mid-20-point range is when he's far better player, and the last 4 triple-doubles have all come with him being in that 20-point range. The Thunder have looked pretty good when he's doing that. Isn't that interesting? I was right. The Cavaliers beat the Jazz 91-83. Kevin Love returns. The Warriors, they beat the Magic 122-92. Oh, everything's good back in Golden State. Look at that. The Nuggets beat the Clippers 129-114. The Clippers continue to just be a landslide at the moment. This Nikola Jokic guy, really good, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Grizzlies beat the Hawks 103-91. And in the battle of no one cares about New York, Brooklyn beats the Knicks 121-110. You know what the worst part about the Knicks are? They're one of the few teams that are definitively bad, and they're not even trying to tank. It's rough out there in New York. Explain to me why all I've ever heard from talking heads is just because you win the offseason doesn't mean you win the regular season. We saw the same, and we see it in every sport. In the NBA, they're like, well, the Heat signed the big three, but it's going to take time for them to gel. Boston signed their big three, but it's going to take time for them to gel. Golden State signed Kevin Durant, but it's going to take time for them to gel. Don't give the offseason winner the championship. And we see it a lot of times in the NFL especially. It's one of the big ones that we see it. Everyone always goes back to the Eagle team. The Eagles, 2011, signed all those free agents. They're the dream team, as one Vince, not so young anymore, stated. They went from, in 2010, being 10-6 to 8-8. And that was with Vince Young, Jason Babin, Nnamdi Asomugha, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Ronnie Brown, Steve Smith. And so we always tell everybody, you won the offseason, but you got to play the regular season games. Except that now New England has a good offseason, and everyone basically just handed them the trophy. I think, they're just like, hey, you know what? Just keep doing for last year. We'll just write 2017 on it because you guys got that one too. Can we slow down on them, please? Really. The Patriots won the Super Bowl last year, which is the big disclaimer when you say, they won the offseason, but they're still great and they're the defending Super Bowl champs, so they should just be better. No, that's not how that works. I learned a while ago from some people that did some pretty good gambling and were pretty decent at sports gambling. Anomalies such as comebacks, and big comebacks, not down 7 and you win by 3, but down 20 points and you come back and win, that's a loss. You sit there and throw up a 40 spot on a team and then you win 41-3, that's an anomaly. Don't you throw it out. The Patriots, let's not forget, were down by 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Should have lost. And the only thing that allowed them to win was terrible play calling on the other side and all of the stars aligning. Ideal in reality, I'm not taking anything away from him. Tom Brady has 5 trophies. He's great. That's fine. I'm not, on a personal note, yes, I consider the Adam Vinatieri argument for what if he missed those 2 field goals, but that's simply hypothetical. Ideal in reality. Reality is he has 5 rings. They just won another one last year. That he is great. There's no denying that. But let's not act like just because they won, they deserved to win. When you have teams, same reason with the Giants, You know why the Giants made it 2 Super Bowls, but then were pretty terrible in the other situations? Because their Super Bowl wins were anomalies. They were not something you can predict. They were not something you can count on. They were inconsistent. Isn't that funny? The Patriots have acquired Brandon Cooks, Stephen Gilmore, re-signed Dante Hightower, and signed Rex Burkhead. The average fan doesn't even know who Rex Burkhead is. Brandon Cooks is a speed player, which is fine. I'm not taking anything away from Brandon Cooks. I like Brandon Cooks. Stephen Gilmore is a good man-on-man corner who played in Rex Ryan's system. Dante Hightower, who they had last year. Let's not forget, part of what makes New England so great is they're like the Spurs. They have a system. The system works. The system is great. And they kind of plug players into the system, and it works for them. They've only ever plugged in, though, 2 or 3 great players in the system. Those being Randy Moss, those being Rob Gronkowski, and I think I'm forgetting someone, but those are their 2 most notable big-time players. And what did both do? Had about 2 or 3 good years and combined for 1 Super Bowl. And I'm not taking away from their greatness. Rob Gronkowski is great. Randy Moss is the greatest receiver of the 2000s as far as I'm concerned. But let's not put Brandon Cooks in either of those guys' category because he's not that player. He's coming off playing this wide open scheme in New Orleans. Drew Brees throwing the ball around till he's 67. Excuse me. This wide open system. Stephen Gilmore's coming from Rex Ryan's defense, which is way different than what the New England's going to run. There's just too many variables for me to be willing to give New England coming off an anomaly Super Bowl win, which if you're a betting man, they lost that game. To say that just because they've added these guys, and re-signed one of their own, so they didn't get better. They just kept pace with re-signing Hightower. That now they're instantly greater. They're just they are by far the best team in football. No, they weren't by far the best team in football last year. There's only been one team. I get to brag here. There's only been one team that's flat out won an off season and had immediate impact, and that was the 2014 Denver Broncos. And call me biased, call me whatever you want. The facts are the facts. 2013, they went 13-3, had the greatest offense ever. 2013, they had the greatest offense ever, set all kinds of records. 2014, completely revamped the team, brought in Aqib Talib, TJ Ward, Emmanuel Sanders, and DeMarcus Ware. Within 2 years, had Super Bowl 50. DeMarcus Ware could have made a case for MVP. Emmanuel Sanders had a great game. Aqib Talib had a great game despite, face masks. But we're past that point. And brought in, between back-to-back free agent classes in 2013 and 2014, went to 2 of 3 Super Bowls. It's the only team that's flat out won an off season, and they won consecutive off seasons, which is really hard to do, that had immediate impact and immediate return on their investment. ROI is it's a pretty common business term. You need return on your investment, and Denver got it quicker than anyone has in the last 10, 15 years on their free agents. But trust me, for every 2013, 2014 Denver Broncos, there's way more 2010, 2011 Eagles. And these Patriots are good. Will they win their division? Yeah, because their division's the worst division in football. I know people are going to say the AFC South. I think the AFC East is just as bad, and they've been consistently bad. The Patriots will be good, have a chance to be great, but don't give them their ring yet. More scores. We got Notre Dame over Princeton in 60-58. Virginia over UNCW 76-71. Gonzaga thrashes San Diego State 66-46. West Virginia 86-80 over Bucknell. Northwestern got its first tournament win in school history, 68-66, because of a foul that still nobody knows why it happened. Villanova won 76-56 over Mount St. Mary's. Xavier over Maryland, 76-65. Florida State over Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast always is interesting to me. And Arizona over North Dakota, 100-82. One of the big things you're always going to, and I've said it in this show, I've said it in past shows, give things time. You know, people don't like to give time on success. People want instantaneous success. I mean, think about it. If I did instantaneous success, I would have stopped doing my podcast after episode 1 because I got 3 views for episode 1 and I got 2 listens on my SoundCloud. And one of the views is for myself. So I got a total of 4 views / listens. I was okay with that. Success does not happen overnight. It just doesn't. Even if you have $1 million idea, it takes some time for it to turn into $1 million. Starbucks was a regular old coffee shop for about 10 to 12 years. Best Buy was nothing special for about 9 to 10 years. Facebook was cool, was mostly a kid's fad for about its first couple years, and now it runs the internet. Amazon used to sell books. Now they run retail. With anything that you want to be great, it takes time. And generally, a good amount of time is 3 to 4 years. Not just with sports, but with life. You date a girl, or girls, you date a guy. The average person generally takes about 3 to 4 years, and then you kind of know, is this the person I want to be with for the rest of my life? Is this person kind of crazy and I need to back out? Is this person, well, I really like her, she's really fun, but I don't know if I can fully commit myself. Generally, after 3 to 4 years, you know. Yes, you could take more time, you could take less time, but 3 to 4 years is generally when the average person really knows what they have. Why do they put school in 3 to 4 year blocks? You go, except for elementary school where you're learning the basics, you go to middle school for 3 years, you go to high school for 4 years. It takes you about 3 to 4 years to understand what you have, what you are doing, and what you need to do. So I found this study, and it was which NBA team had the brightest future at the end of, based on the end of last season. And this was 2013-2014. So this is LeBron back in Cleveland. This is still Westbrook and Durant on the Thunder. And this is the Warriors pre them going crazy and dominating the league. This is the year before they would start doing that. So, final year with Mark Jackson. Which, let me just say, I think Mark Jackson is a great coach. And I think Mark Jackson should get another opportunity. And if I had to make a case, I would say Mark Jackson should look into getting the Pelicans job. Because I like Alvin Gentry, but it just hasn't worked. And I think to waste prime years of Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins is just wrong. But that's a side note. So, brightest futures. Projected NBA championships 2014, 2015 through 2018, 2019. So still 2 more years to get it. The Thunder at 0.84. The Rockets at 0.35. The Clippers at 0.34. The Heat at 0.31. Yeah, I know that's the weird one. The Warriors at 0.28. The Pacers at 0.27. Trailblazers 0.24. Spurs 0.24. Raptors 0.22. Timberwolves 0.20. Gosh, I love this article. This article is great because it validates every single thing that I've said since the start of my show, which is don't freak out, don't assume, and don't falsely project. You can project that this guy is going to average this amount of points, this amount of rebounds, but you can't project greatness. You really can't. That's why out of the teams that have actually won titles since this list came out, the Warriors at a 0.28, which is the 5th highest. I'll give them that. And the Cavaliers, who had even with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving on their team, 0.07 titles. The Cavaliers' projected team wins were 33. Don't ask me how they got that number because I don't know if a team with LeBron James could actually win 33 games. That'd be, I don't even want to imagine the kind of slander and backlash you would get for a 33 win season. The Warriors 51. Well, if you watch the show or if you've just watched basketball over the last couple of years, you know the Warriors haven't won 51 games or come close to that. They're usually in that high 60 mark. Same with the Cavaliers. They're far above 33 wins. The Miami Heat projected to win 54. That's not happening. Clippers 57. That's probably about right. The Rockets 54 this season. And the Thunder 59. Now the Thunder are kind of the odd one because obviously you lose Durant and a lot of these numbers go out. And the teams that you see that are high on this list, good young talent that people projected to be great that just haven't panned out. You take the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay? No, I'm sorry. I said we're excluding them. You take the Rockets. James Harden. Dwight Howard was still on the team at this point. Who else? They had, at this point, trying to remember the point guard, Patrick Beverly had a good showing in the playoffs. They had a young nucleus that was supposed to take them to the top. And what'd they do 3 years later? 2.5 years later, blew it up. Dwight Howard's no longer on the team. It's now 3-point shooters and James Harden playing an entirely different brand of basketball. The Clippers. The most disappointing 5-year stretch in NBA history. I'll say it. For what the Clippers had and what they currently have, they are one of the most underachieving teams in recent sports memory. And I love Chris Paul, but that team is underachieved. The Miami Heat. Wait, we didn't get to keep LeBron, Wade, and Bosh forever? The Pacers. Paul George really isn't as good as everyone thinks he is. No offense to Paul George, but they're not winning the title anytime soon. The Trailblazers. Lillard, McCollum, Plumlee, they've got it. Except we're going to trade Plumlee. Lillard's going to be kind of off and on hurt, and really is just a high-volume scorer like the rest of these guys. And so is McCollum. And when you put two high-volume scorers on the same team, doesn't really turn out the way you want. The Spurs. I've got nothing bad to say about the Spurs. That might be That's either 1A or 1B for the best run team in professional sports. The Raptors. I mean, we could win if the Cavaliers weren't there. The Timberwolves, Zach LaVine, Karl Anthony Towns, Ricky Rubio, and I'm forgetting one of their name, Andrew Wiggins. Great young talent. Are they great yet? No. They're very good, have a chance to be great, but projecting greatness doesn't work. The Suns, I'm not even going to go there. The Bulls blew it up, tried to build around Jimmy Butler and by bringing in old veteran guys who can't shoot. That's more bad management than it is bad team. The Memphis Grizzlies, the hardest playing team that I think I have ever seen, because I was not alive to actually watch in real time the 90s Pistons and the 80s Pistons and the Bulls back in the day. I know those teams are tough, but the Grizzlies are modern tough, and as modern tough as you get. The Pelicans, Anthony Davis has not become that player yet. The Mavericks, Dirk just couldn't keep it up anymore, and their young players did not turn into who they thought they were going to be. And the rest of these teams, you can keep going down the list. But the main point I want to get at is if you look at between the Rockets, the Pacers, Trailblazers, Raptors, Timberwolves, Pelicans, this list is basically who's got the best young players and who's going to make the biggest jump in 2 years. But like I've said since the start of the show, stop projecting greatness. Also, the 76ers were second to last, which I think is great that they were still projected to be tanking. Go Sixers. Trust the process. Last thing. This is going to be quick. Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. It's fair to say right now, still the best player ever. I think the best way to actually put it is by far the best modern player ever. Bill Russell and Wilt are kind of weird to put into a category. But the best modern player ever is Michael Jordan. Well, let me say something. Michael Jordan's not just the most impressive player ever. He's not just the greatest player ever. He's the most important thing to happen to basketball. It's not even close when you really think about it. Let's put into context. Michael Jordan took the league to all-time high. Everybody knows Magic and Larry revitalized the league. They got them back on the national landscape of, oh my gosh, look at the NBA. Everybody wants to play in the NBA. Look how great the NBA is. Yada, yada, all that stuff. And that's great. It really is. But Michael Jordan took the NBA from, oh wow, this is great, to the NBA was once more popular than the NFL for about a 7-8 year stretch. And its ratings really only dipped when Michael Jordan retired. Isn't that funny? He gave them excitement. He gave them a good product. And he gave them an iconic figurehead, which always helps. It's great when you can look at something and you can immediately associate it with someone. People, we love to do that. You sit there and you look at baseball. You can associate it with, when I was growing up, you could associate it with Barry Bonds. You could associate it with, you look at, I live in San Diego, the Padres, Tony Gwynn. You you look at football, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like people love these giant figureheads who are iconic and who you can immediately be like, hey, I associate this with this, and that's why I like that. The iconic figure of Michael Jordan was great for the league because not only was it his play, but his brand, and he's really the first brand athlete that did it by playing and executing the way he wanted. The Jordan brand, his deal that he signed with Nike just last year was $100 million. So you're telling me he was the greatest player, took ratings to an all-time high, iconic figurehead, and his brand is the biggest brand in the sport? Like, everybody knows Nike, Under Armour, and Adidas, but Jordans. Everybody wants Jordans. They always make the joke, oh, the ghetto kid still has Jordans. That's how big they are. That's how much of an impact they are. And let's not stop there. The 5-step domination of Michael Jordan, he owns the team. He's one of those 30 billionaires that are sitting around talking, making all those backdoor deals. He's one of them. He got into their circle. The same guys who paid him, and athletes are highly underpaid, and I'm going to get into that on Monday because it's a controversial topic, but athletes are highly underpaid. And he went from highly underpaid, taken advantage of, to now he's one of them. So this 5-step plan to being the most important and to being the greatest player, the ratings, the iconic figure, the brand, and now he's an owner. There is not a more important person to the sport of basketball. Player, owner, commissioner, contributor. There's not a more important person to that sport than Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And that's a fact. All right, thank you guys. I know this week was kind of weird. I only got to do 3 episodes. I've been kind of sick, as you can probably still tell a little bit of my voice. During Wednesday, I felt bad, and like my voice started to peter out towards the end. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it Thursday. I'm gonna come back Friday. I know I haven't done my NCAA bracket. To be honest with you, I haven't watched enough college basketball to make a legitimate bracket. I do have something on Lonzo Ball I want to do, and I'm either going to do that Monday or Tuesday. But thank you guys. It's been a fun 2 weeks. I'm going to continue next week, obviously. Hopefully next week I put out all 5 episodes. Go check out my SoundCloud, Like It or Leave It. Go check out my Snapchat, my Facebook, my Instagram. I just made a Twitter. Any word of mouth you guys can spread about it is always appreciated. It's up on YouTube, obviously. Like, just spread the word. I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing, and I will see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Drink as much as you can.